All right, Hafaday, Lalawas Mwamwai, good afternoon and welcome to your House chamber. Welcome to today's session. To all of you viewing on cable and all social media platforms, to our veterans there in the gallery, and to the family of the late Uncle Ben Sablan and members of the community, welcome to your House chamber. I now call this the ninth day, second regular session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silence. I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Adda.
Present.
Representative Aldon. Here. Representative Aquino.
HoR.
Representative
Present.
Attal.
Present.
Representative Beneventi.
Very good.
Representative Angelo Komatsu. Representative Diego Komatsu.
Present.
Representative Joel Komatsu.
Yeah.
Representative Joseph Flores.
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores.
Present.
Representative Manglonia.
Present.
Representative Ogo.
Here.
Representative Omar.
Gaigi.
Representative Palacios.
Yeah.
Representative Rangamar. Representative Sablan.
Yes, yeah.
Representative Siniklas.
Present.
Speaker Villagomez.
Present.
Representative Yangtamay.
Yangi.
Representative Yomo. Mr. Speaker, we have 17 members present and 3 members absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With 17 members present, that's enough for a quorum to move forward with today's session. Let the record reflect that Representatives Angelo Camacho, Elias Rangamar, and Ralph Yumo are hereby excused for today's session. Okay, colleagues, and as discussed before the session, we'll now move down to item number 5, introduction of resolutions. And I recognize Representative Malcolm Omar.
Thank you, Speaker. Introducing House Resolution Number 2418 to deeply honor and celebrate the impactful life and indelible legacy of the late Honorable Benigno Magofnia Sablan, whose tireless dedication and myriad contributions were instrumental to the progress of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and to humbly offer our heartfelt condolences to his bereaved family. Introduced by myself and Representative Joel C. Camacho. And if no objections, I'd like to introduce this as a committee of the whole.
No objection.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Representative Omar. House Resolution 24-18. Let the record reflect that this resolution is hereby introduced by the Committee of the Whole and will be placed on today's resolution calendar for action. With nothing further, we'll now go ahead and proceed as discussed before session to item number 15, resolution calendar. And I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption and House Resolution number 24-16, a House resolution to recognize and commend Project Buddy Check 670 for its unwavering dedication to empowering veterans and their families in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and for its long-standing contributions to community service, unity, and the well-being of our veterans. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of House Resolution number 24-16, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 24-16 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of House Resolution number 24-18, a House resolution to deeply honor and celebrate the impactful life and indelible legacy of the late Honorable Benigno Magofnia Sablan, whose tireless dedication and myriad contributions were instrumental to the progress of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and to humbly offer our heartfelt condolences to his bereaved family. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt House Resolution number 24-18, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. And with that, we'll now take a recess, and we would like to first call on the family of the late Uncle Benigno Magofnia Sablan up for our first resolution presentation. Recess.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Everyone in the gallery, everyone watching on live and on cable, and especially the family members of the late Benigno Magofnia Sablan. I just want to thank my colleagues here for showing up today so we can adopt and present this resolution. Good afternoon again and welcome to the family of the late Vice Speaker Benigno Magofnia Sablan, fondly known as Tanino. We thank you all for being here today. On behalf of the entire legislative body, the House of Representatives of the 24th CNMI Legislature, we present you the House Resolution 24-18 to deeply honor and celebrate the impactful life and indelible legacy of the late Honorable Benigno Magofnia Sablan, whose tireless dedication and myriad contributions were instrumental to the progress of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and to humbly convey our heartfelt condolences to his bereaved family, his wife Antimira, children, grandchildren, and his siblings with us today. It is both a solemn honor and profound privilege to present this resolution on behalf of myself and Rep. Joel Camacho and the members of the legislature. In loving memory of the late Honorable Benigno Magofnia Sablan, Tanino, a remarkable son of our islands whose life embodied service, humility, and unwavering devotion to his family and his village and the entire Commonwealth. We gather this afternoon to recognize a man whose contributions spanned education, marine conservation, natural resource protection, public leadership, and community stewardship. His decades of dedication from his early years as a teacher and fisheries specialist to his distinguished service as Vice Speaker of the House, as Director and Secretary for the administration strengthened the very foundations of our islands. Above all, Tanino was a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, whose quiet leadership, integrity, and love for his people, our oceans, and our lands left an imprint far beyond his years. His legacy is one that will continue to guide us, shaping the values of our youth, inspiring future public servants, and reminding our community of the power of service rooted in compassion and purpose. With this resolution, we humbly extend our deepest respect and heartfelt condolences to the Sablan family, and Timi, and children, and grandchildren. May the memory of the late Honorable Tanino Benigno Magofnia Sablan live on in the hearts of our people and in the generations whose paths will be brighter because of his life's work. Again, on behalf of myself, Congressman Joel, and the rest of the members, we offer you this plaque as a token of our appreciation.
All right. Is it on? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna stand here. So, First of all, I apologize. I was just appointed this morning to be the speaker of the family. So please be patient and also be understanding if my Marshallese accent gets very strong. So, Speaker of the House, honorable members, good afternoon to you all. My name is Elia Zablan. I am the eldest of the family. On behalf of Mira de Brum Zablan, my siblings, and the family of Benigno Magofnia Zablan, I wish to acknowledge and express our sincerest gratitude and thanks to you for the honor and the recognition bestowed upon our father. His life and accomplishments exemplified his love and passion for our Commonwealth, its people, and the land. One of our father's greatest passion was conservation and protection of the land and natural resources. His belief was that the land and the ocean provided life for us, and in return, we must harvest from it in a sustainable manner for the preservation of our future generations. As all of you know, he was an avid fisherman. He loved to fish, he loved to sail, and he was a great captain. His love and respect for the ocean and the marine ecosystems demonstrated in his actions in his career service in the government and to the people. And finally, he was a devoted man dedicated to his family. In fact, our parents met here many moons ago when my mom came to Mount Carmel High School in her early years. This is a testament to his family values and commitment to his values. And they've been, together for over 50 years. So this is a great accomplishment and a role model to me and my siblings. Finally, is it okay if I say something in Marshallese? Okay. So, ilo dan mira im family ni kanan kamolo ole bro ragalle do pir charago air im chipang ko air ngan kemut kajujo ngai kle im kamolo kum kana ole bin chipang ko am em charbal ko am to ngan chinem im ajri ra chadem ngan ole bro ma ro re chuju peramina yon ailingin kom kanu yune mol im komun tibarago do chinem ka tibarago ilo an makiyan lo in malok. Special thanks to Joel Camacho and Malcolm Omar. Thank you very much for this legislation. And once again, Suzus Maasi, Kileso, and Komol Tada from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Sarge, please escort the folks from Project Body Check 670 for their resolution presentation.
Center. Or any other veterans, like yesterday. And I close it to boy. Come in, please. Don't be shy. Not the butt. Is this everyone? All right.
Looks like there's a sailor back there.
Yeah, come on. You gotta be in the brotherhood. Yeah, that's why too. Yeah. Test. All right, guys. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, again for your support on this resolution, House Resolution number 24-16. If you would indulge me, I usually like to read the whole resolution so I don't leave anything out. So I'll begin with that. So formally presenting House Resolution 24-16. A House Resolution to recognize and commend Project Buddy Check 670 for its unwavering dedication to empowering veterans and their families in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and for its long-standing contributions to community service, unity, and the well-being of veterans. The legislature acknowledges the selfless service and unwavering dedication to community upliftment, exemplified by those who transition from serving in defense of our freedom to championing wellness and empowerment within our community. Serve as a beacon of inspiration, igniting within each of us a fervent desire to cultivate our passions and contribute wholeheartedly to the flourishing of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Project Buddy Check 670 was founded by veterans of the CNMI, men and women from all branches of the United States Armed Forces, who sought to preserve the camaraderie, accountability, and brotherhood that sustained them during their military service. Upon returning home, many of these veterans reconnected through golf, which served both as a recreation and therapy, and through these gatherings initiated the informal buddy checks that would evolve into a movement dedicated to ensuring no veteran is left behind or suffers in silence. The term buddy check originates from the U.S. Army, referring to the practice of soldiers checking in on their comrades to guarantee their safety, readiness, and well-being, an act rooted in loyalty and trust that Project Buddy Check 670 has carried forward into civilian life as a community-wide mission of care, unity, and resilience. In 2023, the founding veterans formalized Project Buddy Check 670 into a structured organization committed to empowering veterans and their families in the CNMI. Since its inception, Project Buddy Check 670 has become one of the most active and respected veteran organizations in the CNMI, leading numerous initiatives including the Veterans Victory Classic Golf Tournament, the annual Veterans Day Family Fun Day, peer support outreach programs, and fostering collaborative partnerships within the CNMI Veterans Affairs Office, VA Pacific Islands Healthcare System, Wounded Warrior Project, Veterans of Foreign Wars, TAN Holdings, the Tan Siew Lin Foundation, and the U.S. Delegate Congressman Kimberlyn King Hines' office. Project Buddy Check 670 continues to strengthen families and communities through inclusive outreach, family-oriented events, and the promotion of wellness, advocacy, and education across the islands of Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. Through its Field of Heroes initiative, in collaboration with the Tan Siew Lin Foundation, Project Buddy Check 670 honors the service and sacrifice of military personnel, law enforcement officers, first responders, and veterans who have dedicated themselves to protecting and serving the people of the Commonwealth. Project Buddy Check 670 exemplifies the enduring spirit of service, resilience, and unity among CNMI veterans and their families, ensuring that those who have served continue to lead, uplift, and safeguard their communities with honor and dedication. This august body is honored and privileged to commend this organization for its unwavering dedication, exemplary service, and impactful contribution to empowering veterans and their families. if I may, I like to just go off the heart. And when I used to work at the governor's office, we were tasked with calling town halls to call our veterans. And I was working at the time with a fellow veteran, Denton Pangilinan. And we had a very difficult time trying to get veterans out. And he had to explain to me that, you know, it's a certain brotherhood, that a certain camaraderie, brotherhood and sisterhood that, you know, veterans need. You can't just, we don't understand the things that you guys have been through. And the fact that you guys did this organically out of your hearts and the impact that you guys have made within the last 2 years since your establishment, it was amazing to me. And I had to make sure that we took the time to honor you guys and continue to support you guys in any way that we can. So from the bottom of my heart and all of our colleagues, I just want to thank you all for your service, for all that you do for our veterans, and you can see the impact already. That Fun Day was such a success, and you could see that everybody comes out, you know, when it's veterans, reaching out to veterans, that respect, the camaraderie is there, and I just wanted to thank you guys again from all of us, and thank you, my colleagues, for the support.
All right. So I guess so. I'm Clement Bermudez, the president of Project Body Check 67. Oh, I'll look at you guys because I don't want my back. Yeah. They got my back, but I don't know beyond that. But it's all right. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah. So you heard how we started. We're overwhelmed with this. Really, this it's an honor for us to be here, to be recognized. But it's not about the recognition. If Rep TJ was not persistent and kept bothering me, it was like an itch that just would not go away, no matter what you put on it. And I flicked that task to our Vice President, Ton. And I say, please connect with Rep TJ. And so here we are today. And it's not about the recognition. And you're right, Congressman. It's the connection, the yearning for connection. And you'd be surprised how veterans, it's an unspoken connection. No matter where you're at, you know who's a veteran. This is not to, again, segregate us from society. But it's part of the healing because the mission continues when we transition. We transition back home for a reason, because the service to our country we've done, now we're serving our community, our islands. And having a veteran in any organization, whether government or private sector, it's always a plus, because you never go wrong, because they will always do something towards the mission, because we truly believe in that, right? So you never see them still, okay? They're like ants that just keeps going, right? But beyond that, this is an honor for our families too, because we thought the backbone of every veteran is our family. The families we've stood and continue to stand. You'll be surprised the range of emotions and trauma per se that we go through, and they are there. I gotta recognize CGC too, because they've been pushing us, specifically Joe Villagomez and Anna at that, because we're part of the Governor's Challenge to reduce and prevent suicide across the nation. And having this organization, really, again, it's about the connection, reconnecting veterans together, regardless of service. We never figure out, we never ask who you are or what you are. If you're a vet, you're a vet. Regardless of your rank, it does not matter. Okay, so we're standing here together, strong and dedicated to to serve our community, to serve the Sinamay. And we truly appreciate this. You just don't know how much this means to us. Okay, and it's another step in the right direction for us as we progress. And again, as we continue to help our fellow veterans, our families, and most especially our love for our community. Thank you again.
back to session. Before we went to recess, we were in the resolution calendar. We adopted House Resolution 24-16 and 24-18. We still have one more remaining, and with that, I'd like to now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of House Resolution 24-17 to honor, commend, and memorialize the life and legacy of the late Honorable Diego Tenorio Benavente for his distinguished public service, steadfast leadership, athletic and maritime accomplishments, and enduring contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and to extend the legislature's deepest condolences and prayers to his wife, children, grandchildren, friends, and the entire Benavente family. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been offered by the floor leader to adopt House Resolution number 24-17, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Recognize Leader Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to inform the body and the public that we did make some technical amendments to this current resolution, because when we had introduced this resolution, the Honorable Diego, the late Diego, was still alive, and because his sudden passing, we have made some technical changes to the title and language, just to memorialize and to acknowledge his passing. Thank you. Speak.
Thank you, Leader, Council. So that's all technical, correct?
Yes, it's all technical. We can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Council. Any further discussions? Ready, okay. All in favor for the motion to adopt House Resolution 24-17, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. And as discussed, we'll now go back to the regular order of the agenda, which is now back to item number 2, public comments. And the podium is open for public comments. Please state your name, the entity you represent, and please try to keep your comments related to the items on today's agenda. Looks like there is none. Under public comments, we'll now move down to adoption of journals, item number 3, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have 2 journals ready for adoption. 5th day, second regular session journal dated October 9th, 2025, and 6th day, second regular session journal dated October 24th, 2025.
Thank you, clerk. And with that, I recognize the floor leader for the adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of the following House journals. 5th day, second regular session journal dated October 9, 2025, and 6th day, second regular session journal dated October 24, 2025. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt the 5th day, second regular session journal dated October 9, 2025, and the 6th day, second regular session journal dated October 24, 2025, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 4, introduction of bills. We have nothing under House bills. Under House local bills, I recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I would like to officially introduce House Local Bill number 24-35 to appropriate $16,925 of the Rota Poker license fee account under BU 3302 and for other purposes. Pre-filed by myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogle. With nothing further under House local bills, we already took care of item number 5, introduction of resolutions. We now move down to item number 6, messages from the governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have 2475 through 2481.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under messages from the governor? Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd just like to acknowledge Governor's Communication 24-80 received by this House on November 19, 2025, the Executive Order number 2025-05, transfer of the Cannabis Regulatory Authority. I'd just like to point out to the chairperson of the Cannabis and that committee to please take a look at that executive order. As we know, the ABTC might or might not receive federal funds, and because this is still classed as a federal drug, we do not want to lose any money because we failed to look at the regulations and jeopardize any federal funds that are committed and awarded to the ABTC. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any further discussions under messages from the Governor? Recognize Representative Atta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues, for allowing me to speak. I just want to make a comment in regards to Governor's Communication 24-78, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, regarding this $4.9 million of lapsed funds from the public school system. That this $4.9 million cannot be identified by the administration as new monies because these monies have already been appropriated and have been actually lapsed in PSS's accounts because they actually utilize federal monies to address their needs at the time, and a lot of these appropriations were remitted to the public school system later within the fiscal year. Therefore, the monies lapsed. They weren't able to use those monies. House Bill 24-70 sitting in the Senate right now that authorizes them to utilize those funds that we had passed a few weeks ago, and the only way PSS can utilize those funds is by authorization by the legislature and obviously signing into law by the administration. It cannot be considered new money because those monies have already been appropriated to the public school system. It's through their audit reports that we found that $4.9 million, and we want to make it very clear that we cannot adjust the budget by an additional $4.9 million because those are not new monies collected within this fiscal year. Again, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues, for allowing me to speak on that specific issue.
Thank you, Representative Atta. Representative J.P. Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just to make comments under Governor's Communication 24-81, informing the House that he had signed House Bill number 24-68. This is the $29 million authorization loan with the Public Land Trust. And it is the hope of this legislature, as we work so hard for this proposed legislation, that negotiations are undertaken at this moment, and that we look forward for any communication from the administration that a deal is struck with regards to this authorization. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Recognize Leader Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just like to comment on Governor's Communication 24-77, informing the legislature that the group health life insurance program is at risk of termination due to delays in passing the fiscal year 2026 revised budget. Just like to inform the public, because I know that we all receive calls in regards to this, that right after this session, we're scheduled to meet with the Senate side, our counterparts, and to go over this issue and see how we can remedy this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader Adda. Recognize Representative T.J. Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I just wanted to quickly comment on Governor's Communication 24-79, Executive Order number 2025-004, establishing the Business Permitting Center. I'd like to thank Governor Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Mendiola for their efforts. I think this is long overdue. I know we may be working on legislation of mine that's kind of similar, but and it may seem redundant, but this legislation is meant to be in place so that way it continues regardless of maybe any changeovers in administration. So thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Governor and Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Representative T.J. Manglonia. Representative Danny Aquino Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to also comment on Governor's Communication 24-77 regarding the retirees' group health life insurance. I was wondering maybe if the House and Senate can just release the funding or approve the funding for at least the life insurance or the health insurance part
of the budget and then deliberate the budget bill later. But I think that there's a deadline for this, and, I think the sooner we get this thing resolved, the less calls we're gonna receive. And I think also, the confidence regarding the Office of Interior is also wondering, what is the problem within our local government system and why it takes so long. So I'm asking the House, the House and the Senate to work in harmony so we can just get this thing done, at least pass this thing, please. Because I'm getting calls also, and, I just want to let the public know that I'm a minority. I'm not the leadership, and, but I also respect every one of you guys and, your position and how you act on these things. And with that, I yield. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative
one more thing.
Aquino. Yes, go ahead. You have the floor.
I would also like to ask the governor if he can release our allotment. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Representative JP Sablan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just to add on Governor's Communication 24-77, I know that Ms. Joyce Tang from the Settlement Fund had released notice to all the retirees about the issue about July for the retirees. I just want to let the retirees know that, like what Leader Roy Ada had mentioned, we are meeting shortly after this session at 3 p.m. with our counterparts at the Senate Fiscal Affairs Office, and the top topic on today's discussion will be this issue. And I am hopeful that we can work as we did work by passing the budget before October 1st. I like to just assure the retirees that the issue with July is a top priority for us with your committee, Mr. Speaker, on Ways and Means, together with the Fiscal Affairs. So, thank you.
Thank you, Representative JP Sablan. Recognize Representative Julie Ogo.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to extend our sincerest gratitude and appreciation to Governor Apatang in regards to Governor Communication 24-75, which became Rota local law, which establishes and authorizes the HPO to collect fees for the tour guide to be able to fund for the fuel and operation. And I would like to express a sincere gratitude to Governor regarding Governor's Communication 24-76, which became law 24-04, which also establishes an account and to collect fees for heavy equipment under the Department of Public Works. This will also give them the ability to be able to fund their operations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogo. Any further? Okay, with nothing further, I'd just like to note that for Governor's Communication 24-80 regarding the transfer of the Cannabis Regulatory Authority, I'd like to refer that to the Committee on Cannabis and JGO. Should any changes or rejections happen, the deadline is January 18, 2026. And also for Governor's Communication 24-79 regarding establishing the Business Permitting Center, I'd just like to refer that to the Committee on Commerce just for your reference, Chairman and committee members. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 7, Senate Communications, we have Senate Communication 2455 through 2458.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader for the motion to accept Senate Communications.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move that the House accept Senate Communication 2455 to 2458 and that it be deemed the property of the House for further disposition as appropriate. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to accept Senate Communications, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Any discussions under Senate Communications? I recognize Representative Aquino.
I'd like to thank the Senate President and the Senate members for their swift action in the passage of my bill, to increase the number of military leave hours available in the semi government employees, and to broaden eligibility for its use. I want to thank them. I want to thank the Fiscal Affairs Committee in the Senate and all the members who voted. And I also like to ask the governor if he can kindly expedite the signing of this thing, as many service members are aware of this bill and are looking forward and anxious for its passage. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Any further discussions under Senate Communications? Ready? All right. We'll now move down to item number 8, House Communications. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have House Communication 2470 through 2472.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under House Communications? Ready? All right. We'll move down to item number 9, Communications from the Judicial Branch. We have none. Item number 10, Communications from Departments and Agencies. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 10, Communications from Departments and Agencies, we have Department Agency Communication 2424 through 2426.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under Communications from Departments and Agencies? Ready? Okay, we'll move down to item number 11, Miscellaneous Communications. Clerk?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, Miscellaneous Communications, we have Miscellaneous Communications 2475 and 2476.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under Miscellaneous Communications? Ready? Okay, we'll now move down to item number 12, Reports of Standing Committees. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 12, Reports of Standing Committees, we have Standing Committee Report number 2440 and number 2441.
Thank you, Clerk. And with that, I recognize the floor leader for the adoption of committee reports. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-40, reporting on House Bill number 24-34, entitled "To Streamline Business Licensing in the Commonwealth by Establishing a Business Startup Task Force, a Digital One-Stop Platform, a Support Center, and a Conditional Business Licensing Process." Your House Committee on Commerce recommends that the House pass House Bill number 24-34 in its current form. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-40, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion to adopt, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Standing Committee Report number 24-40 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 24-41, reporting on Senate Bill number 24-31, SD1, entitled "To Ensure Food Safety and Support Small Food Entrepreneurs Sell Non-Time Temperature Control, TCS, for Safety Food and Home-Cooked Meals and for Other Purposes." Your House Committee on Commerce recommends that the House pass Senate Bill number 24-31, SD1 in its current form. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 24-41, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Standing Committee Report 24-41 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 13. We have none under Reports of Special and Conference Committees. Item number 14, Unfinished Business, we have none. Item number 15, the resolution calendar, we already took care of that. Item number 16, bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-34, Standing Committee Report number 24-40, a bill for an act to streamline business licensing in the Commonwealth by establishing a business startup task force, a digital one-stop platform, a support center, and a conditional business licensing process. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-34, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adda?
Yes.
Representative Odon? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Attal?
Yes.
Representative Benavente?
Good.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Ungan.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores.
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Ungan.
Representative Palacios,
Ungan.
Representative Sablan,
Ungan.
Representative Sinicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yanktamai.
OR.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 17 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-34 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the passage and first and final reading on Senate Bill number 24-31 SD1, Standing Committee Report number 24-41, a bill for an act to ensure food safety and support small food entrepreneurs, sell non-time temperature control (CSS) for safety food and home cooked meals and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of Senate Bill 24-31, Senate Draft 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Yes.
Representative Atel,
Yes.
Representative Benavente,
Ungan.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Ungan.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Ungan.
Representative Palacios,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Ungan.
Representative Sinicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yanktamai.
OR.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 17 members present voting yes, Senate Bill 24-31, Senate Draft 1 hereby passes the House. Thank you, colleagues. With nothing further under bill calendar, we now move down to item number 17, miscellaneous business, and the floor is open. I recognize Representative Vincent Odan.
Well,
Okay. All right. Recognize Leader at that.
thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to all the members here for supporting House Resolution 24-17 to honor the late Diego Benavente. I also like to ask the Speaker that during the state funeral service that he would be the one to represent us and present this resolution to the family of the late Diego Benavente. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader Adda. So noted. Representative Vincent Odan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to read a letter that I'll be sending to the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. So if the members can allow me just to read this, all right? And I really do think that this is critical because this is going to be a generational impact if we do not start. Actually, we're late, extremely late. But then again, better late than never. So this is the formal letter that I'll be submitting online to the federal e-rulemaking portal, all right? So the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management has submitted a request for information and interest concerning commercial leasing for outer continental shelf mineral offshore of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island, federal registration number 2025-19852. So on behalf of the 24th Northern Marianas Commonwealth Legislature, House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island, I submit these comments in response to the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, BOAM, request for information and interest titled Commercial Leasing for Outer Continental Shelf Minerals Offshore the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island, published in the Federal Register on November 12, 2025. The Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island is a self-governing U.S. jurisdiction whose people, including Chamorro and Carolinian Refaloas indigenous community, have deep, long-standing cultural, economic, and spiritual connection to the surrounding ocean. Our fisheries, tourism, subsistence practices, and cultural traditions rely on a healthy marine environment and on the integrity of the broader ocean ecosystem and beyond our nearshore waters. The RFI describes a potential leasing program for non-oil and gas minerals on the outer continental shelf in an offshore area of approximately 35.48 million acres adjacent to the CNMI. This area, encompassing deep waters and seabed features such as abysmal plains and seamounts, has been identified as potential prospective for ferromanganese crust, polymetallic nodules, and other mineral deposits. While we recognize the federal government's interest in securing critical mineral supplies and enhancing national economic and security objectives, we must emphasize that any such activities in our offshore area directly implicates the rights, interests, and well-being of the people of the CNMI. Our core position is as follows. 1. Under current federal law and policy, there is no clear guaranteed framework ensuring that the CNMI will share fairly in any economic benefits arising from OCS mineral leasing offshore the Commonwealth, including bonus bids, rentals, or royalties. And 2, the environmental, cultural, and socio-economic risk and potential harms from seabed mineral exploration and mining in the CNMI offshore area would be borne locally by our communities, ecosystem, and future generations. And 3, BOEM's existing consultation framework does not provide the CNMI with a clear, legally recognized consent authority or veto over leasing decisions that may significantly affect our territory and people. In light of the global and Pacific experience with similar extractive and strategic projects, and in light of the current legal framework, we cannot assume that a seabed mineral leasing regime framed as serving as national interests or energy emergency needs will automatically benefit our island. Absent meaningful reforms that guarantee territorial consent, equitable revenue sharing, strong environmental and cultural protections, and tangible local benefits, we cannot conclude that the contemplated leasing regime would provide a net benefit to the CNMI. We therefore submit the following specific comments and requests. 1. Legal framework and CNMI's position. The OCSLA 43 United States Code subsection 1331-13356 Charlie declares it to be national policy that the outer continental shelf be made available for expeditious and orderly development subject to environmental safeguards and in a manner consistent with the maintenance of competition and national needs. Section 8K 43 United States Code subsection 1337 Kilo grants the Secretary of Interior authority to lease any mineral other than oil, gas, and sulfur on the OCS under such terms and conditions as the Secretary may establish. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 expanded the statutory definition of the OCS to include certain submerged land adjacent to U.S. territories thereby clarifying that the OCSLA applies to submerged lands within the U.S. EEZ adjacent to the CNMI. BOEM's regulation at 30 CFR Part 581 implements leasing of mineral other than oil, gas, and sulfur, and the NEPA, the 42 United States Code subsection 4332, requires federal agencies to analyze environmental impacts, reasonable alternatives before undertaking major federal action that may significantly affect the quality of the human environment. Notwithstanding these authorities, there is no explicit statutory revenue sharing formula for territorial OCS, critical mineral leasing, that guarantees CNMI a significant share of economic value, and there is no statutory provision granting the CNMI a consent authority or veto over leasing decisions. CNMI's role is primarily consultative. 2, territorial consent and decision-making authority. We urge BOM and the Department of Interior to recognize in policy and in any future program decisions that no commercial seabed mineral leasing or mining should proceed offshore the CNMI without the clear, informed, and freely given support of the Commonwealth's elected leadership and indigenous community. We further note that the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights of Indigenous People, endorsed by the United States in 2010, affirms that states shall consult and cooperate in good faith with indigenous people in order to obtain their free, prior, and informed consent before approving any projects affecting their lands or territories and other resources. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People is not self-executing federal law. It reflects an emerging international minimum standard that should guide BOEM's engagement with Chamorro and Carolinian people. Accordingly, we respectfully request that BOEM treat the CNMA governance position as a central determinative factor in any decisions whether to advance from the RFI stage to a proposed leasing notice, and formally recommend that Congress establish by statute a territorial consent requirement for OCS mineral leasing adjacent to U.S. territories, including the CNMI, consistent with the principles of free, prior, and informed consent for indigenous population. 3, revenue sharing and economic equity. The RFI is framed in terms of national benefits, including reduced dependence on foreign critical mineral supply chains and enhanced U.S. economic and security resilience. However, there is currently no explicit statutory revenue sharing formula guaranteeing that the CNMI will receive a fair share of any economic value generated from leasing or production of seabed minerals in our offshore area. We therefore request that BOEM acknowledge in its record that under existing law, territorial revenue sharing for OCS critical mineral leasing is unclear and inadequate, and we recommend that Congress establish statutory revenue sharing formula for territorial OCS mineral leasing that, at a minimum, provides a substantial portion of all bonus bids, rentals, and royalties to the CNMI government for investment in infrastructure, education, climate resilience, environmental stewardship, and indigenous cultural programs. Any future leasing program that does not guarantee significant, predictable revenue streams for the CNMI will be perceived as transferring our natural wealth offshore without fair compensation. 4, environmental protection, precaution, and scientific baseline. Any deep sea ecosystems are among the least understood on Earth, yet they may be highly vulnerable to disturbance from large-scale seabed mining operations. Sediment plumes, noise, light, physical habitat removal, and other impacts have the potential to affect not only the mining site, but also broader ecological dynamics, including those connected to fisheries upon which our communities depend. Scientific studies of past deep sea disturbance have shown that ecological impact can remain evident decades later. Consistent with the precautionary principles, intergenerational equity, and best available science, we request that BOEM commit to a science-first approach in the CNMI offshore area, including comprehensive baseline studies of biodiversity, ecosystem function, and connectivity before any decisions to advance to a leasing program. Ensure that all environmental data collected in connection with the CNMI offshore area are promptly and fully shared with the CNMI government and made publicly accessible with appropriate safeguard for any proprietary information. Recognize that until the long-term environmental consequences of deep-sea mineral extractions are better understood, any move toward commercial-scale operations in our offshore area would be premature and potentially irreparable. We further note that the International Union for Conservation of Nature and a growing number of state scientists and financial institutions have called for a moratorium or precautionary pause on deep-sea mining until robust scientific knowledge, regulatory framework, and safeguards are in place. BOEM should align its approach with this emerging global consensus. Indigenous rights, cultures, and sacred sites. Number 5. The RFI expressly invites comments regarding potential impact on indigenous peoples, sacred sites, including submerged, traditional use areas, and cultural and spiritual values. For Chamorro and Carolina communities, the ocean is not merely a resource. It is an essential part of identity, history, navigation, tradition, and spiritual belief. We request that BOEM engage in early, continuous, and culturally appropriate consultation with Chamorro and Carolinian leaders and acknowledge holders, not limited to formal comment periods. Support mapping and documentation led by indigenous community of cultural, historical, and spiritual areas of significance in the offshore area, recognizing appropriate confidentiality protections, and designate cultural and spiritual sensitive areas once identified as exclusion zones where no leasing or associated activities will be considered. 6. Local benefits, capacity building, and community protection. If, despite our concerns, the federal government considers proceeding towards leasing, any program must be designed to provide tangible, enforceable benefits to the CNMI and to protect our communities from disproportionate harm. At a minimum, BOEM should commit to any lease terms for the offshore area will include local hiring and training targets with clear reporting and enforcement mechanism, prioritization of the CNMI ports and facilities for vessel servicing, logistics, and associated shore-based operations where feasible, funding by lessees of independent environmental and social monitoring programs under CNMI oversight, including community-based monitoring components, establishment of a long-term mitigation and community benefit fund capitalized by lessee payments to address any direct or indirect adverse impact on fisheries, cultural practices, and community well-being, and protection against boom-bust cycles, including requirements that operators plan for decommissioning, site rehabilitation, and post-closure monitoring. 7. The RFI process, outreach, and timeline. We request that BOEM structure its RFI and subsequent processes in a manner that meaningfully includes CNMI residents and stakeholders. We therefore ask that BOEM hold in-person public meetings and listening sessions in Saipan, Tinian, and Rota at times and location accessible to fisheries community members and indigenous leaders. provide clear, plain language summary of the RFI and any subsequent documents in English and where appropriate in other languages used by the CNMI communities. Allow sufficient time for the CNMI government and communities to review technical information and to provide informed comment, including extensions of comment deadlines where justified, and designate the CNMI government as a cooperating agency in the NEPA environmental impact statement that may be prepared for a CNMI offshore minerals program, recognizing the Commonwealth's special expertise and stake in the outcome. 8. Historical precedents and the need to avoid a sacrifice zone. The CNMI's concerns are not hypothetical. As summarized in the accompanying background analysis, global and Pacific history provides multiple examples in which powerful states and corporate actors have used small islands, territory, and indigenous land to advance strategic or economic agenda, while the local communities have been left to cope with the environmental, health, and social consequences. These examples include, among others, our own people, the phosphate strip mining in Banaba and Nauru, which removed much of the land surface of those islands, displaced communities, and left landscapes that are largely uninhabitable. The Papua New Guinea copper mine and gold mining, which generated substantial export earnings for central governments and companies while inflicting severe and ongoing damages on rivers, forests, and local livelihoods, contributing to violent civil conflict. Oil extraction in the Niger Delta, where decades of spills, gas flaring, and contamination have degraded farmland, fisheries, and water sources, even as oil revenues have supported the central state and corporate profits. And uranium mining, where indigenous miners and communities experience elevated cancer rates and long-term health impacts for radiation exposures, and where hundreds of contaminated sites still require cleanup decades later. In the Pacific context, the nuclear testing program of the United States in the Marshall Islands and the French in French Polynesia stand as particularly stark warning. Entire atolls were used as a test site and waste repository in the name of national security and nuclear deterrence. Indigenous people were displaced, exposed to fallout, and left with contaminated lands and waters, and compensation and cleanup efforts still remains incomplete. In each of these cases, the strategic or economic benefits flowed primarily to distant capitals, while indigenous and local communities become de facto sacrifice zones. BOEM proposed offshore mineral initiative, if designed without robust consent, benefit sharing, and safeguard, risk repeating the same pattern in the CNMI. We therefore urge BOEM to explicitly acknowledge these historical lessons in its programmatic analysis and to design any possible CNMI offshore mineral programs in a way that avoids treating our island and people as expendable for distant strategic purposes and priorities. In conclusion, the people of the CNMI understands the importance of strategic resources, national security, and economic development. We also understand, perhaps more acutely than distant decision makers, the consequences when external interests extract value from our environment without leaving our communities better off or fully respecting our rights and way of life. We appreciate the opportunity to comment on this RFI and to place on the record our concerns, principles, and expectations. We stand ready to engage constructively with BOEM, the Department of the Interior, and other federal partners to ensure that any decisions affecting the CNMI offshore area are made transparently, responsibly, and with full regard for the rights and well-being of our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues.
Thank you, Representative Aldan. Any further, Representative TJ Magnolia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Rep. Colbury, for that passionate stance, and you made a lot of good points. I just wanted to also thank all of you, my colleagues, for the passage of House Bill number 24-34. Again, this one-stop and our permitting and licensing for businesses has been an issue that has been brought up since the early 2000s, and I cannot express how thankful I am that there is movement, and obviously right now with our economic situation, we do need to cater to our business community. And if we provide more convenience for business to become operational, then that will encourage more business operations and hopefully encourage more collections for our government and taxes. So thank you all again, and I hope everyone has a blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Representative Magnolia. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will not take up any more time. I know we need to prepare for the 3 o'clock meeting that we have, but I just wanted to express my condolences on behalf of the residents, the families of Precinct 3, including my family, on behalf of my mother, myself, my siblings, and we'd like to express our deepest condolences to Auntie Vicky and their children. The late Honorable Diego Tenorio was a very good friend of my dad. In fact, he was one of my dad's good friends. And I would be remiss if I did not express my condolences on behalf of the Precinct 3, its families, its businesses, its corporate leaders, and everybody that is a part of our beautiful and the best precinct on the island. So on behalf, once again, on the residents of Precinct 3, we offer our sincerest condolences to the family of the late Honorable Diego Benavente. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield my time.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Rep. Aquino, it's non-debatable. Just kidding. Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to renew my condolences again to the family of the late Honorable Lieutenant Governor, former Lieutenant Governor Diego Tenorio Benavente. He was a friend of my dad. They used to play golf, Guam, Saipan. And, you know, the one thing you can always remember about him is always his smile. Good days, bad days, he always had a smile. And like I told the media, you know, he was always somebody you can count on to pick up whenever you needed advice. He was always there. And, you know, I guess that's how the people of Susupi are. Precinct 2, we're very friendly. That's why, Chairman John Paul, without a doubt, I would say that Precinct 2 is mas gatbo zan bonito na election district gintermentin Saipan. I don't want to say CNMI because I haven't seen the Northern Island yet. So with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Precinct 1, you guys want to one-up or? Any further under miscellaneous? Ready? All right, we'll now move down to announcements. Any announcements? Representative Malcolm Omar.
Thank you. Thank you again, Speaker. I just want to announce and thank Rep. Colby for his statements also, but just an announcement that the RFI, request for interest, request for information period, the deadline is on December 12th, the deadline that was given by BOEM. So there's still a request for extension, but for now it's December 12th, and we're urging the public's participation to request interest or information or this comment period. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Omar. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And in line with Rep. Colbury and Rep. Omar, the NMC CREASE is sponsoring a community conversation titled Deep Sea Mining in the CNMI. It's Hear the Voices of the Deep. It is, should you have any questions, please contact Margaret Kintle at margaretkintle at marianas.edu. The location and the save the date is December 3rd, 2025, AMP Indoor Theater, 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Once again, sponsored by NMC Crease. Save the date for December 3rd, 2025 at the AMP Indoor Theater from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if you have any other questions, please contact NMC Representative Margaret Quinto at marianas.edu.
Thank you.
And
So-
also, I'm sorry,
No,
sir,
go
I
ahead.
wasn't done. From everybody in Precinct 3, the families, the businesses, my family, happy Thanksgiving, Marianas. We love you very much.
Thank you, Floor Leader Rep. Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to wish everyone here and your families a happy Thanksgiving. To the people of Precinct 2, I am sincerely humbled and blessed that you gave me this opportunity to be here with a bunch of magnificent people. And for that, I'm truly grateful and wish everyone in Precinct 2 and also throughout the island a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Vice Speaker.
Thank you. I know this is announcements, but yes, on behalf of the great people of Precinct 1, the biggest precinct, I'd like to extend a heartfelt happy Thanksgiving to all my colleagues, your families, and to the people of the Commonwealth. And Rep. Aquino, esta malo mi allotment.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. Rep. Yanktamay.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone from me and everyone in Precinct 3. And on Thanksgiving Day, Majesty Restaurant, that's in Precinct 3, will be distributing meals. So if you know anyone who is not able to have any of that thing on the meals on Thanksgiving Day, ask them to go over to Majesty Restaurant in Precinct 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Yanktamay. Rep. TJ Mangloni.
Sorry, I know I said it earlier, but again, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving on behalf of the great precinct of Precinct 5. And I also just wanted to recognize, all the families that are gathering and all the families that have reunions. And most in particular, I wanted to recognize my Kitutu family, who will be celebrating their 42nd annual Thanksgiving reunion, one of the longest standing reunions, I think, in the Sinomai. So thank you, familia, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Rep. Aquino. Enough
Thank-
about Precinct 2.
Thank you,
I'm just
Mr.
kidding.
Speaker. Know that now that the Vice Speaker mentioned that the allotment is in, I want to just thank the governor, Papa Tang. Thank you so much. I went around to some of the members asking if they had $1,700, but thank you again. I yield.
Thank you, Rep. Aquino. Any further other under announcements? Ready? Once again, to the people of the CNMI, on behalf of the 24th House of Representatives, happy Thanksgiving, and may you have a safe and, of course, a very enjoyable time with your family and friends. So, with that, we now move down to adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to adjourn subject to the call of the chair. So move.
Thank you. A motion has been made by the floor leader for adjournment, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This session's hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone.